Well, for me, I only look at the positive comments, and if it's usually a negative comment, I think what's really different about us is just because we have so many views and all that stuff, people still think that they can come into our channel and cause hate on the channel. And
Right.
usually I ignore most of their hurtful comments to us because I don't care about those. I only comment back to usually positive comments.
Mm-hmm.
But if somebody really does attempt to just start something, I usually put them in their place in front of everybody.
Right.
And I mean, I think that a lot of big YouTubers wouldn't want to do that. They'd be worried like, oh, it's going to look negative that I'm
Mm-hmm.
sort of like I'm angry about this or whatnot. But if the community on our channel wants to behave like little children, then they get treated that way. Like I never actually made a comment about this, but basically I usually comment back as much as they comment to me. And if it's negative, then I usually ignore it. So that's how it's always been on the channel. So, I mean, I've obviously over the years, I've seen tons of videos made about us saying we suck and all that baloney. But I think the most important thing is to ignore all of the hate because you could make the perfect video of all time. I mean, perfect. And somebody out there would hate it. It's
Yeah.
impossible for everyone to like it. So I think in the beginning, it's important not to look at the stats in terms of like who likes me and who doesn't.
Right.
I would just concentrate on the positive on the channel. And if there's a negative person, what I've seen happen is because I've been such a positive person in the past,
Mm-hmm.
most of our hardcore viewers will actually take care of the negative people for
Yeah.
the community. So I don't even have to say anything. They'll take care of that person. And if they go over the line, I tell them to like, leave them alone or just we'll delete them or whatever.
Right.
But if you look at our community in the 3KB community, we hardly have any haters. Like there's the odd once in a while we'll get like a big shout out from somebody
Mm-hmm.
and a whole flood of new people will come by and usually a couple people hate us and they comment,
Right.
but those people don't stick around. So I mean, if you look at our comments, you'll see we comment the most out of everyone and I think that's unique.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, again, it goes to what you're saying. You're being interactive still. I mean, you take a channel like, again, I'm not gonna state any names, but channels, as you mentioned, that when you get a shout out, a lot of people think that it automatically means positive things. Unfortunately, as you know, sometimes that's just not the case. And what happens is that sometimes, like for example, there was one channel I remember that put up some, reviews. And by the way, I'm just someone who loves to watch blogs on YouTube. I know people like just. I know a lot of my friends just like to listen to music or something. I love listening to blogs, so I know a lot of people who put up blogs. There was one person who, at first, got very positive support, and then what happened? I mean, he gets this shout out, and this flood of negative people came into his channel, the wrong kind of people. So I think it goes to show that just because you get a shout out doesn't mean. I mean, it's great because it means more traffic for your channel, but it also could mean some bad things negatively. But that's it's a debatable topic. I mean, it's controversial, and certainly it's something that we could go on for like hours about if we wanted to. But
Well, that's why I started Fan Bites because I wanted people to, if they have a channel and they need help, I want people to go there and give constructive criticisms. I don't want them to go there and be like, "This is crap," I hate it. You're horrible. You're whatever. If you're gonna write something that's against the channel, at least be creative about it. I mean, if somebody's doing something that they could do better, maybe try to help them with it. There's no reason to go there and oh, this sucks. There's no reason to do that. So I don't really, if I see those comments or anything, I tend to not support types of people.
right, definitely. So
But
oh yeah, sorry.
yeah. Well, I mean, there's channels in the past where, I mean, YouTube's a hard thing to learn about. I mean, it's hard to really understand how YouTube works because you kind of, I mean, there's different levels to how well you know certain people. Like, I would say you and I on a personal level don't know that much about each other, but on a YouTube level, we're pretty good friends. You know what I mean? Like,
Right. Yeah.
you could contact me and I'd probably get back to you, and it's, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
sometimes I think when you're helping people out like this, sometimes when you have to draw the line, they take it kind of personally.
Right.
So I have to be very careful on who I'm helping out, because I've helped out people so much in the past who I thought were very promising on YouTube, and then they would just, because I wouldn't shout them out again, they got really upset and would like post videos saying like I'm an asshole and blah blah blah. But it just, it's so ever since that happened, I've been kind of a little bit cautious about who I talk about and whatnot.
Right. Definitely. So, yeah. So also, this is a very interesting topic, and I think it's been brought up recently more than ever. Digital gaming or cloud gaming, which has been much speculated on to be a big thing in the next generation. I know that you're not the type of person who buys into rumors, but I mean, you look at the market for example, back years ago when Netflix first started, or even right before that, people used to obviously go out and rent their movies, and then Netflix came out, and people decided to just sit at home and let it mail to them or stream it from their TVs. Now, of course, as you know, for example, if you go on Xbox Live, they have a gaming marketplace where you can actually download games for ridiculous memory. I mean, it's like usually at least 7 gigabytes per. So if you have a small hard drive, not very good, but and you can actually play the game just by downloading it. And because it's becoming more and more of an interesting topic, and there's much more speculation that perhaps it's going to be used as a full-time way of playing games, maybe even in the next 5 to 10 years, what do you think about that? Is it a bad thing for video games?
No, I think, well, I think it's a bad thing for video game stores because they won't have physical copies.
GameStop, by the way.
I mean, the retro side of things the prices of old retro stuff will go through the roof because that's the end of it. When there's no physical actual disc in front of you and you're buying things, I think it's going to change the way video games are actually released in terms of I think it's way too early to say when that's going to exactly happen, but I certainly think it's not even close to happening yet, but it's almost like the floppy disk versus a CD, and then now it's going all digital. Right now, I think it's like in the early stages. It's still, it's brand new technology. We're still learning about it, but it's just not at that point where, say I wanted to download the new Legend of Zelda game on release date. A lot of kids don't have credit cards. And I think that the companies understand that. And if I get allowance money, how am I going to go buy that game if I can only buy it online?
Right, true.
So, I mean, I think you have to think about this in terms of a business aspect as well, and I think people overlook that. And it's all about money. So when it comes down to that, what's easier, giving your kid $60 cash or letting them use your credit card online where you have no idea what he's really doing with it?
Exactly.